She kicked open the doors for virtual women everywhere.
Someone asked me who Lara Croft is. I'd have to say that she's the infamous female adventurer.
And broke every rule.
For them to have a female character was something very, very different, and people said we were mad. I mean, there was very heated discussions.
Real-life legends wanted a piece of her.
Bono called us. He wants to have Lara Croft on the Pop Mart tour.
And she became every boy's fantasy.
My mom is very worried. I haven't had a date in a long, long time. Lara Croft is very, very real to me. My friends say she's too real.
Her beauty caused a backlash.
She's unproportioned. That's not natural. You know, physics it doesn't work like that.
While her adventures inspired millions.
Lara is a fantasy. She is what everybody wants to be, boy or girl. She represents an Indiana Jones type character where you can go out and find something, hunt it down, take care of the baddies, and then prevail over evil.
This is the story of a sexy, kick-ass character who became a virtual goddess. Prepare yourself for Lara Croft.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
In 1988, the world of video games is pretty limited.
For the most part, there were very rigid genres. There was fighting genres, there was role-playing games, sports games, and driving games.
Confident he could make better games, Jeremy Smith, a 27-year-old computer salesman, uses an inheritance to start his own game development company. His kid brother soon joins the ride.
People would come to Core Design with a concept or a game idea. So for a good 4 years, we were developing games, some of the old classics, Rick Dangerous and things that sort of went out and that we developed, but not under Core Design name.
After years of developing, the brothers decide to come up with some concepts of their own. They Thunderhawk and a few other successful titles. And by the mid-1990s, the red-hot Core Design is adopted by gaming giant Eidos Interactive. And just in time, because the brothers are preparing to drop a bombshell on the entire video game industry.
We sort of still have to wake ourselves up and pinch ourselves that we, you know, very sort of created this character.
This character comes from a brand new concept.
For the most part, the landscape of gaming was more the same, meaning it was more of what people had been accustomed to from the Nintendo Super System and the Sega Genesis.
People keep forgetting this is the one that established 3D character-based action-adventure. This is it.
There were lots of what we'd call first-person character games around where, you know, you just the eyes of the character, you don't actually see the body of the character. And we really wanted to move it to the next level.
And where will this new character live?
And we had this idea that we wanted to be a sort of an adventurer, and we go to these strange, bizarre places in the world, but so let's do it through a video game.
And this new adventurer, what would he be like?
And we wrote down things like we wanted the character to have an agility, a coyness. We wanted people to relate to the character. We wanted them to be vulnerable. We didn't want the character to be sort of a muscle-bound superhero.
The closed minds began to open.
And when we wrote all it down, it actually was a woman.
The idea of having a woman play the lead character in an action game stirs controversy.
We were very conscious that up until then, 95% of the game-playing public, you know, sort of 7 years ago, were male. And for them to have a female character was something very, very different. And people said we were mad. I mean, there was very heated discussions.
Very revolutionary. And it was extremely risky at the time. Nobody realized what the impact would be on the game.
A young graphic artist at Core is given the lucky assignment of creating this female heroine.
Keep in mind, the person who created Lara Croft was an 18-year-old boy from England. And like any 18-year-old boy, he has some images of women that, you know, pop up in his mind.
And those looks are raising eyebrows, questions, and much, much more.
And I get asked the question a lot, you know, proportionally, why does she look like she looks? It's done for a reason, and that reason being that, you know, proportionally she's drawn like that so that actually people notice her features.
And boy, do they notice.
If we made her waist a little bit larger, she just looks like a cylinder. She looks like, you know, you don't notice anything.
But this babe is more than just a smoking body.
This character being a sort of a gymnast, an athlete, that was something that we wrote down in this paper. We wanted this person to be able to jump large gaps. We wanted to have that fluidity and slinkiness, really, in how she moved.
Every hot-bodied virtual female ass kicker needs a good name. How about Lara Croft?
We thought it'd be far more attractive for the American people to pay an English character as opposed to an American character. So we changed the name to Lara Croft. We thought Croft was very sort of upper crust British.
Lara Croft is an heiress who turns her back on high society to explore archaeological finds across the world. The game, named Tomb Raider, offers a beautiful character set in a world of true 3D thrills.
Suddenly people could be in that room and they could look around, whereas before it'd just be purely a 2D game which moved left and right of the screen.
And it blends action and adventure like never before. You have these true 3D environments. You have a character that you can maneuver and control.
It's time to debut the voluptuous heroine.
We went to the Consumer Electronics Show and we displayed it, and the buzz was amazing. Literally, the game took off.
And there was just throngs of people in front of it.
Tomb Raider is released on PC, Sega Saturn, and PlayStation in late 1996. Lara Croft sets out on her first adventure to find the Scion, a treasured artifact from Atlantis. The game creates its own category.
It wasn't just fighting, it wasn't just role-playing game, it was all those together and formed a new genre, action-adventure. Core was successful in being able to not only position the camera behind Lara Croft as she runs to give these beautiful panoramic cinematic views.
And those panoramic views of 15 massive 3D levels, as well as the smashing gameplay, propel sales. Lara's natural assets aren't overlooked either.
When you go to see films, you don't see crusty old grandmas in the lead roles. You see beautiful people. In this case, Lara Croft's a female, so why not make her literally and figuratively bigger than life?
But it's her ass-kicking mentality that really turns gamers on.
She takes no crap, for lack of a better word, from males. She's in there to win it. She basically enters every situation to come out on top.
So make some room, boys, because Lara Croft has arrived.
I remember going to the local store and seeing people walking out with the game and queuing to buy the game, and I was just standing there thinking, this is so bizarre.
Tomb Raider sells more than 1 million copies in less than 4 months.
She was kind of a bigger-than-life force. She really drove the boat, actually. We just kind of hopped on and went along for the ride.
But every good character needs a good nemesis.
There was a site that was strictly set up to essentially exploit Lara.
By January 1997, Lara Croft, the tough and sexy heroine of the Tomb Raider video game, has battled her way through controversy to find a spot at the top of the sales charts worldwide.
It was even more of a phenomenon in the European continent. I mean, across the European continent. In fact, Tomb Raider is a bigger deal in Europe than it is in the US.
We knew at some point in development we'd got something special and different because there was so much interest into the game. But, you know, we were incredibly naive.
Lara is an unexpected breakthrough.
We were way undersupplied at the time. It took us forever to get back into stock. We just didn't know what the consumer was going to demand on this.
The buxom babe is leading a revolution.
The environments were so real. They're also exotic. Lara Croft's been called Indiana Jane, the female equivalent of James Bond, and she very much is that.
Tomb Raider goes on to sell more than 4 million copies, and its star appears on more than 40 magazine covers worldwide. Fans and her creators aren't crazy about her.
People ask questions about her like she's real. They want to know where she is, where does she take vacations, where does she go away, what does she do in her spare time.
My mom is very worried. I haven't had a date in a long, long time. Lara Croft is very, very real to me. My friends say she's too real.
Since Lara's busy exploring the depths of the world and stuck inside her virtual environments, each year a lovely lass is chosen to represent her at special events.
We have a little entourage that she travels with. It includes 2 makeup artists, a handler, if you will, and 2 bodyguards, because she really is swarmed at the show, and now people look forward to it.
But some of the real-life Laras cause real-life problems.
Rona, she just started saying that she was Lara Croft. And Laura wouldn't do that. Laura wouldn't open a EB store in Derby, England. And it's like, well, yes, she is. You're Lara Croft. We're paying you. Get your ass up there and open up that store. So, you know, but she still was the best. Noah McAndrews was a fantastic model. Until we found out one day when a Playboy showed up on my desk with her on the cover, which was at first exciting, but then when you went and saw the pictorial, that's something Lara Croft would never do.
Or would she?
There was a site that was strictly set up to essentially exploit Lara and to show her naked. That was not how we wanted our image portrayed, really our corporate icon portrayed. And so we went after them with a vengeance, and we shut it down.
Core Design is given a tough assignment by parent company Eidos. Deliver the next Lara game in time for Christmas 1997.
Almost everybody expected a second game, which was strange to us because we never even thought about doing one.
What Eidos did was go back to Core and say, look, we've had this success. We've got to figure out a way that we can get this game year in and year out.
We actually developed it over about a 9-month period, which was madness in hindsight.
This time, Lara is teamed with a powerful partner.
Well, right after Tomb Raider 1, we then signed our exclusive agreement with Sony.
And, you know, Lara became sort of an icon that was very much associated with Sony and with the PlayStation 1.
For the Core Design team, making another Tomb Raider gives them a chance to take care of some unfinished business.
There was so much that sort of ended up written on that sheet of paper that was there through the development that didn't make it into this game.
For the first time, the